Hello everyone, Vampire 218 here, bringing you my new Sunday series, which is going to look at just various topics and concepts in the Draft League format that you should be aware of and you should, prep for and try and get. The first of these is going to be hazards. Now, there are 4 types of hazards in the Pokemon game, and they are Stealth Rock, Spikes, Toxic Spikes, and Sticky Webs. Now, I will be going over each of these in detail, going over the mons that learn them, and whatnot. So we're going to start with Stealth Rocks, and Stealth Rocks are a form of entry hazard that is a rock type. Stealth Rocks, as you see from this type effectiveness chart right here, on a regular mon do 12.5% points of damage. On a mon that's weak to rocks, they do 25%. And on a mon that is extremely weak to rocks, it does 50%. Now, on a mon that's resistant to rocks, it only does 6.25. And on a mon that is extremely resistant, it only does 3.125. So, rocks do damage based on typing of how effective rock type moves are. Now, looking at the rock setters, there is quite a few that are of value here. Aerodactyl, Aggron. As we keep going down, we're not going to talk about Arceus because it's usually banned. Archeops, Armaldo, Azelf, Clado, Bastiodon, Blissey, Bisharp, Bronzong, so many of these. Celebi. There's a lot of these mons as you scroll down. Clefable, and I feel that Stealth Rocks are probably the most useful, and they're just, not only are they the most useful because so many different mons get them, like Infernape, Heatran, non-rock types getting this, Mawile, Metagross, Mesprit, so many different types of mons get Stealth Rocks, but I also feel that in the long run they are the most useful as they do, I think, the most damage in the long run. Now, we're going to go to Spikes, and Spikes are, let me just take a quick look at the set. Spikes will do with 1 layer an 8th, with 2 layers a 6th, and with 3 layers a 4th of a Pokemon's health. However, Pokemon with Levitate are not affected by Spikes, so that is of note. Now, looking at what gets Spikes, there's a good amount, but it's nowhere near as diverse as the Stealth Rock mons. And this is really bad, in my opinion, just because you need the time to set up the spikes for them to do that automatic 25%. So, you do the first layer, and then you have to do the second layer, and by the second layer is usually when they're getting in the effectiveness. 1 layer usually doesn't do enough other than just breaking Sash or Sturdy. And I mean, that's good, but I think you should rather have Stealth Rocks. So, if I were to rank Spikes, I would probably say they are almost the least effective, just because of you need to set up for 3 turns for them to do their full effect. The next one I'm going to look at is Toxic Spikes. And Toxic Spikes on 1 layer poison the target, and on 2 layers severely poison the target, giving them the Toxic condition. Now, looking at the Toxic Spikes, they're gotten by an okay amount of Pokemon. However, a lot of them are being poison type, but some non-poisons get them. Greninja, Cofagrigus, Cloyster. So they're gotten Fortress. They're gotten by enough mons that they're of use, and automatically poisoning the target is pretty good. Now, the downside to Toxic Spikes is if you switch a poison type into them, it will absorb the spikes and they'll be gone. They also, I do not believe, hit flying types. And this is huge because, as with Spikes, you can just switch in a flying type mon or a mon with Levitate and nothing will happen. So that's why I would say Toxic Spikes are probably the least effective. with spikes, you at least have that damage, and it can't be absorbed by a type. With toxic spikes, steel types will not get poisoned. Poison types will absorb them. Flying types will not get poisoned because they won't hit the flying types. And levitate, the same thing. So, I mean, I would say toxic spikes are probably the worst of the entry hazards, simply for that fact. The last type is sticky webs. And sticky webs will lower the foe's speed by 1 stage when they switch in. Now, of the entry hazards, this is learned by the least amount of mons. And of those mons, only a few of them are even viable in the Draft League format. There's Leavanny, Galvantula, Shuckle, Ariados, maybe, Masquerain, and Kricketune. But even of those, you're not going to usually see a Kricketune or a Masquerain or even a Shuckle sometimes. Although Shuckle, you will see more, I feel, than Kricketune, Ariados, or Masquerain, because Shuckle can at least also set up rocks. So, lowering your opponent's speed is huge, especially in a format where most people are not 252ing, or even if they are, that speed drop can put you below where they outspeed you, and that means after just doing sticky webs, suddenly you're going first and you're getting your damage out first, and this can be a real hindrance to certain teams. So it's of definite note. Now, getting into why we want hazards. So the Draft League format is based a lot around the fact that you know what your opponent is going to bring, and you can prepare answers. If they're bringing out a poison type mon and you're weak to poison, you can bring in your steel type mon. If you're weak to water, you can bring out your grass type mon. It allows you to build a team that has many answers for what you anticipate your opponent bringing. This inherently means that there are usually a lot of switch outs. And what hazards do is discourage the switching out. Stealth rocks will do damage to, each mon when it switches out or when it switches in. Sticky webs will reduce the speed, so, if they wanted to do that, they're not going to outspeed you anymore, usually. And then there's spikes, which does the same as stealth rocks, but I feel in a lesser degree, unless you get all 3 layers up, so. And I mean, at the 3 layers, it's better, except that it doesn't hit flying types or levitates, so. And then toxic spikes, it discourages through threatening the poison, so. And threatening this is huge because it forces your opponent to now decide, do I make this prediction and switch into my type that will resist your move and take that damage, or do I stay in and try and kill you? And this can spell the downfall for any foe, because that damage from hazards can, like I've said, pop Sash, pop Sturdy. There's just so many things that can be done, and it also forces your opponent to usually run a spinner or a defogger in order to deal with them. Now we'll get into spinners, defoggers, spin blocking, all that hazard control stuff in the next video next Sunday, but for now we're going to be talking about just hazards on their own. So what I think is really good is usually picking up 1 or 2 mons on a draft team that can set up various forms of hazards. So you may want to go something like Galvantula for webs, and I'm trying to think of a good mon that would go with Galvantula, and there are tons. Jirachi. Or, I mean, there is the fire weakness there, but that's what I mean. Maybe Infernape and Galvantula. Mons that not only synergize together through typing, but also you would... I mean, there's the flying weakness there. But you should understand what I mean. Getting mons that synergize through typing, through their role, but also through the hazards they can set. Now, it is also perfectly viable to just get 2 mons that can set up stealth rocks. As there are so few mons that can set up sticky webs, and as spikes are not that good, and toxic spikes, they're also not that good, I would suggest just 2 mons that can set up Stealth Rock, but if you happen to get a mon that can set up Toxic Spikes, it's never a bad thing. Like, if you grab Gyfagrius, you could put the Toxic Spikes on there. The same with Cloyster. The Nidos are great mons. You could have those on there, but you could also use it to absorb. I mean, even Tentacruel. There's so many mons that allow you to set up Toxic Spikes, and they're a little more utility than regular spikes if you're using them in conjunction with Stealth Rock. So you might want to put them on there on like a draft team, maybe not. It's really up to you and how your playstyle works. So you should be shooting for 2 as the ideal number. 3 isn't bad. You probably shouldn't go for 4 at that point. You can definitely go for 4 mons that can set up Stealth Rocks, but you should have other reasons why you're picking up those mons as well. Maybe one of them does something else, like Registeel. You can tank with Registeel, but it also has that ability for Stealth Rocks. You can tank with Rhydon or Rhyperior. You can do damage with them too, but they also just happen to have Stealth Rocks. So that should be your mindset going into a draft in regards to hazards. They're great, and you should actively try and get at least 2 mons that can set up hazards. Ideally Stealth Rocks, again, because they are, in my opinion, just the best hazard out there. And if Sticky Web was available to more mons, it would probably be competing with Stealth Rock, because that speed boost means that you're getting faster and can get kills more. But as it is, I think Stealth Rocks are the best, so I would highly suggest running at least 2 mons on your team with them. I've been Vampire218. If you liked the video and you want to see more Pokemon Draft League content, please leave a like, favorite, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye!